Good morning. Just doing my best to get started today, and what really troubled me yesterday. It tested me again, but not in a bad way, in a way that it was like we're going to see, Andreas, how much of your problem is a real problem, and how much of it is just your mind, and how much of it is your mental health and you complaining. And ultimately, the it's really dark. I'm just trying to think where I can position the phone again. Let's see, is that any better? I'm going to be a bit dark because the light's behind me, but you can sort of see me. Basically, it was about half an hour out of just enough to not be a problem. I won't go into any more detail as to what I mean by it than that, but in the end, it wasn't a problem for me. It was acceptable. And what really troubled me yesterday didn't trouble me in the end today. But for 10 minutes there, until I found out the time, is linked to time, which is probably my autism and or my PTSD. But it was a huge relief that I didn't have to experience that terror this morning. And I'm doing my best to just get on with the day again. Obviously, I have physical health problems, and they get me in the morning when I first get up. That's the time of the day that they really are the worst. And again, it's not, on one level it's not been too bad today, but I think what it is, in honesty, because I'm constantly working with my physical health, trying to address what's wrong with it in terms of what I've been taught with Qigong, and focusing on my body and posture. I think yesterday I improved it quite a bit. But now, for whatever reason, I woke up today and my body wants to go back to the normal place where it finds itself in the morning. Because there's such a great disparity, because I improved somewhat yesterday, and it wants to go back to the same place it normally goes back to this morning. That extra jump is really troubling me. So I'm screaming as if like it's worse, but in some ways it's actually better. I don't know if you can wrap your minds around that. It's not that important. But either way, I'm able to get myself together by hopefully focusing, again, the live stream, and distracting myself enough to just forget about the discomfort. I imagine it like, imagine a really healthy person. I remember, and raising my voice is helping me with my body. It's tuning my voice, my consciousness, my breath all into my body. I remember when I was working at Manna, the raw food cafe, we used to have talks going on there. And we had an American raw fooder who was a celebrity to a certain extent within the raw food scene, Matt Monarch. Real nice guy, real good energy. He came to give a talk. And he stated in that talk that where he is now in terms of his health, because he's become so clean, he believes if he was to eat like a regular hamburger, like probably a McDonald's hamburger, because you can get healthy, clean hamburgers, like just meat and a bit of salt and pepper, maybe an egg. There's nothing real wrong with that. But if he was to eat a hamburger with all the pesticides that are pumped into McDonald's Happy Meals, he wouldn't be so happy. His thoughts, his perception, his viewpoint on that is that eating a hamburger now would probably kill him, whereas once upon a time he could have eaten hamburgers all day long, every day. Yeah, it wouldn't have done him any good. But if you can wrap your minds around that concept that with health, you need a certain level of mentality or understanding of the body to really be able to revert back to past bad habits. And somehow, it's like a conditioning process. It's like bad habits. We can condition our body over time to tolerate them, and because we do it slowly to ourselves, over like months or years or whatever, we can live with it and we don't realise the disparity from when we started that bad habit. And it's a bit like that for me. A bit like that because I guess, in honesty, with qigong and posture, I can go from a very unhealthy state to a very healthy state in a short amount of time. It's like, imagine trying to work at something, like a puzzle or a riddle, and you're not really getting anywhere, but you're constantly working away at it. And then all of a sudden it clicks. Imagine that's my posture. It's like the bones in the body are the fundamentals. And to get the bones in alignment, we have to work on the muscular system, the lymphatic system, the nervous system, all the other systems. But where health really flourishes is when the bones are in line. Don't take what I just said as factual. I'm just trying to express to you the concept of what I'm experiencing. I don't know if it's exactly like that with what happens to me, but that's how I see it. That's how I experience it. So yesterday, it's like I got something, I got a reward with the bones. I've been working away at it for weeks, on the other systems, and not really been getting anywhere. And yesterday it clicked for some reason. And I achieved a great deal of health overnight. So where my body wants to revert back to a state of unhealth this morning, I'm like, whoa, what are you doing? My body's healthier, a lot healthier than what you're thinking, than what you're used to now. You've got to change tack. That's the sort of thing that's going on for me. So I'm just trying to do my best to keep it on a mental level now, focusing, and that should be enough to get me through, hopefully. But I said a few days ago, I've been looking for another option to listening to sports news and normal news in the day as a focus, as a distraction from the pain and the discomforts. And on that live stream, I came to the realisation I'm going to try audio books. And it's a different sort of energy. It's not exactly what I was looking for, but it's something that, giving it a go yesterday, it's something that I can see could work. I just got to get used to it in a different way. And I just had an audio book on now. And the guy was referencing kicking ass in it. Like, become healthier so you can kick more ass. And it's a phrase like I've been hearing to a certain extent. For a little while now, kicking ass, you know. And it's just like the mentality wrapped up in that is wrong. You want to become healthier so you can beat other people. I know it's just a phrase, but phrases often have reasons for their origin. And if you just use it whimsically, don't worry about it, man. Language, that's how you should use fucking language. Language is an enslavement and an entrapment of itself. And the best way to use it is like, you just don't care, it doesn't really matter. So if you want to ever say, oh yeah, I kicked ass, because it just, because it has a meaning, many meanings now. Language has become watered down. If you just use it loosely, don't worry about it. But often people, I can hear it, it's like, in the way they say it, they really mean it. They really mean stuff, they really mean phrases, sayings. And kicking ass is one of them, and it's like, that's not where it's at, man. You're not healthier to kick ass, they're healthier to kiss ass. Yeah? We're here as 8 billion people. If we're here to fight each other, we've got no chance of anything in this life. The only hope we've got is to get healthier to kiss more ass. And that's what this live stream is about at the moment. And for me, I just want to show you like my level of consciousness with it. It's like, I remember I worked at a retail clothes shop in the UK when I was about 17, 18. And I was working on the footwear department, River Island, for those of you that are in the UK. It's like I'd describe it as a more upmarket Main Street boutique. So in other words, it's like your regular mainstream boutique that offers cheap clothing, but a more upmarket version. Like, it's a little bit more expensive than just the cheap stuff. It's not upmarket, it's not like Gucci, anywhere near that. It's cheap in comparison to like a brand, but it's an upmarket cheap shop. And I worked on the footwear department, and it was only a small shop really, and I think I was pretty much the only one that was on the footwear department, so it was really mine to look after. But obviously I didn't work there 7 days a week, every single hour, so other people would have to serve customers on the footwear department, and when it got busy, other people would have to help. But because the footwear department wasn't their responsibility, the stockroom would often get messy. And I was like, fuck. I was like, bloody hell. It's just like, it was too much of a task to clean up after other people all the time and their mess, because with retail, it's all about codes and numbers and all of that on the products. We don't go by product name. So all the products, all the shoes were organised in product numbers. And I realised after a while, you know, it's just like, if I was to do it all myself, my life would be easier. I'd have less work to do in the long run, because other people just messed it up. So I created a little shelf, and I put a label on it, the can't be asked shelf. And what that shelf was there to do was, like, if people were rushing, because obviously people just make mistakes when they're rushing rather than doing it properly and putting stuff back where it should go. Just put it on that shelf and I'll deal with it next time I'm in, rather than messing up all the stock system. Anyway, one day my manager called me over and said, Andreas, that shelf, what's that about? I said, well, you know, just explained what I just told you now. And she said, but you can't put that there. I went, why not? She goes, because it's not can't be asked, which is what I wrote on there. The actual saying is can't be asked. And I didn't ever realise that. I just thought it was can't be asked. Asked, like when you ask someone something. Oh, I can't be asked to do this. You know, don't ask me to do this, I can't do it. Nah, the saying is, I can't be asked. I don't understand the saying, can't be asked. But it's just like the same thing again, you know, it's like a similar. A similar thing to kick ass. We've got a real focus in this world on arses, and well, I've turned into one of the biggest by means of circumstance. And look, I know on a consciousness level and an energetic level something is going on with the physical body where these phrases originate. In other words, once upon a time we were more aware of a energetic conscious interaction with each other than we are now. And these phrases were born once upon a time. Therefore, and in absolute simplicity, for the love of humanity, for the love of life, for the love of yourself, forget our fucking arses, man. You know, we need to, if you're into language and using phrases, which I can believe some people do, I can believe if you're of the mind of being vocabulary focused, which is how some people are, and that's just as good as anybody else on the planet. There's no reason why it's not. You really need to refocus your mind to because it's just how we are. You know, some people are focused on feelings. Some people are focused on language. Some people are focused on the outside. It's just where we grow up, how we're born, who we are. But unfortunately, for those of us that do have the the natural inclination, that's what I'm trying to say, to go towards language, we've got to be careful, because unfortunately you're born into like a trap. You're born into something that, well, I mean, pretty much all of life has been perverted. The outside world has been perverted. The ability to really trust our feelings, with our body being so manipulated through chemicals and other substances and radio frequencies. All of it is, we have to be careful to new levels. And this is me just addressing vocabulary on this instance. I've had an issue with vocabulary my whole life. Well, I haven't. I've just applied my logic to it. But in assessment of how it's used, I'm not fond of it. I'm not happy with its manipulation. So it's just the state, you know. If your natural inclination is to use language for life, you know, that's where you live at, that's who you are. It's a good thing. Don't ever fear who you are. Don't ever fear what you like. But unfortunately, we have to realise the trap that it's become, the ugly side of things, the ugly side of its nature. And the phrases are where you've got to consider, you know, what am I saying? Because I can say it to enjoy the process of vocabulary. But unfortunately with vocabulary, it's all about interaction. It's all about communication. It's all about other individuals as well as yourself. And I'm sure if you watch my live streams, I fail all the time with language, but it's not my strong point. It's not my forte. It's not where my life is at. And I don't venture into saying often, or if I do ever say a saying, it's without the thought, without any attachment to it. But if we really get wrapped up in language, we become what language has become. We become kicking ass. We become can't be asked. And that's what I'm trying to say. I mean, I didn't really have a point when I started this live stream. It's just like I needed to make a live stream to help myself in the moment. And I was listening to the audio book and it just bugged me. I thought, let's just make a live stream about can't be asked. There just seems something really wrong with that statement, that it's so commonly used within the world, within society, that specific statement, kicking ass. Like, let's be great, let's be a great human being to ourselves and make somebody else's life worse. That's the whole aspect of society, isn't it? That's the whole aspect of the monetary system. The whole aspect of capitalism. Somewhere in the world, one person is wealthy, and somewhere else in the world, somewhere else is poor. Someone else in the world is happy. Somewhere else in the world, they're sad. It's a balance, it's a polarisation. I guess the only appropriate way to reference kicking arse is dealing with those problems, dealing with the world, dealing with society, not people. We're all born into this mad world. We're all born into this mad world, and it's not our fault, you know. But if you were to use the phrase, if you were if you find language a good thing, if that's who you are, if that's what you enjoy in this world, is it ever going to be used really kicking ass in terms of fixing up the ecosystem? Whose arse are you kicking? It's not arse anymore. It's like it's almost like karma. You're kicking karma in the arse. Karma's not a real person. So, you know, this is putting it out there. What can we use to replace arse with a kicking? And that's pretty much it. The insulation boards have now been cut in half. I can continue. Nothing else to say in this moment with that matter. But kicking arse, or can't be asked? Which one is it?